this got announced today. Now, a while back, I talked about how Sony wants to do a Spider-Man movie universe in the vein of what Fox is trying to do with the X-Men movies, and with, of course, the perfect example, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, and Sony only has Spider-Man. Spider-Man's all on his own, so, yeah. So I did talk about the possibility of a Venom movie, and as well as other characters they might want to do movies on. Well, today they've not only announced that they are going ahead with a Venom movie, but they are also going ahead with a Sinister Six film. Yes, they're doing a Sinister Six movie. What? Now, let me say this right off the bat. I always said that a Venom movie could work. You could do a Venom movie, and I would be completely okay if they went right to Flash Thompson. You could have some Eddie Brock mentions in there, but I think you could do it, and I think that's what they're trying to do is like the ultimate Venom, but trying to make it more like a super soldier since it's apparently from Oscorp. I think what they're going, I think it would be completely okay to use Flash Thompson as the first Venom. I would be completely okay with that. And I think a lot of people would be okay with that as well, because his series was really awesome. And I've seen a lot of people just talk about, dude, I don't want I don't want Flash Thompson to go as Venom. And it's also cool to see him in Guardians of the Galaxy again. Now, they haven't confirmed what dates these movies are going to be in, but I'll get back to Venom in a second. Let me talk about Sinister Six, because that was the one that I was like, wait, huh? The Sinister Six film. Now, Sinister Six, they announced that Sinister Six will be in the Spider-Man movie franchise, which is something we all knew because Mark Webb talked about his endgame as director of the Spider-Man movies. He wanted to do a Sinister Six film as the big finale. That was always the endgame with him. Now, but a Sinister Six film? I don't know where this is going. Now, they haven't announced what date they're going to do these films. All they've said is that they're announcing them. They're already looking at directors. I can't remember the guy's name, but they're already looking at a director for the Venom movie. And I can't remember what the guy's name is, but they're already looking at a guy for the Venom movie. They haven't done anything with the Sinister Six film. Now, the big thing with that is that, what can you do with the Sinister Six? And now, we know, obviously, that probably the members of the Sinister Six are going to be Rhino, Electro, Norman Osborn Green Goblin, and possibly the Lizard, because Kurt Connors still has the Lizard scale. You can clearly see that, you know, the Lizard is going to come back one way or another. So you've got possibly 4 members. So the other 2 members would probably be, as we saw in the Vault, Vulture and Dr. Octopus. So that'd probably be the Sinister Six on a whole. Now, the big thing is that this is a villain movie. This would be probably the first villain movie. Actually, no, no, you're right. I'm right. This would be the first supervillain movie ever. And it's a supervillain team movie, and there's ways you could do this. You could have their formation, their own. Maybe it could be like an anthology movie. One guy talked about this, and I'd be okay with this, actually. If it was an anthology movie talking about each of the supervillains and then coming together at the end. Have them all together towards the end, and separate stories that can flesh out their origins and stuff, and then become the villain. Actually, no. Now that I think about it, that'd be a little boring. You know, them separately and then not meeting till the end of the film. That'd be a little oddball. And plus, we're pretty much getting the origin for 3 said villains in Amazing Spider-Man 2. So now that I think about it, no, that would not be a good way to go. Maybe, I don't know what you could do with a Sinister Six film. It'd have to be something evil, obviously. That would be the big thing right there. You'd need something. Now, as you guys know me, I love me some supervillains. I love supervillains. However, having said that, I would be really curious and really interested to see where this would go. I would be really interested to see where they could take this, depending on who they get directed. Now, getting back to the Venom movie, like I said, a Venom movie was something that they always talked about, and I think, like I said, I think what they're going to do is do the whole Ultimate Venom thing, which is something I was expecting as well. because they've been taking a lot from not only like Spectacular Spider-Man. I'm convinced Mark Webb watches Spectacular Spider-Man because a lot of the stuff we saw in Amazing Spider-Man 2, you're like, that was something we saw in Spectacular Spider-Man. That was something we... But also, it looks like they're taking a lot out of Ultimate Spider-Man. It looks like they're taking a lot out of the Ultimate Spider-Man comics and the Venom costume. And now, I know a lot of people are crazy about the Venom costume too, but I think it could work for this universe. For this type of universe, I think it would be interesting to go down that route, and you could still have it that it malfunctioned and it split and divided. And in a Venom movie, you can do all the symbiotes. You could make all the symbiotes Venom's enemies, because pretty much half of them were. They were not only Spider-Man villains, they were Venom villains too. So you could have Eddie Brock in there. I don't know. But here's the big thing, because as much as I said, I would be completely okay with a Flash Thompson Venom movie. Just saying that, Richard Parker created the Venom suit with Kurt Connors or somebody else, or he just created the Venom suit to make it a cure for cancer, but then Oscorp weaponized it and gave it to the government, and then you have Flash Thompson, who just comes back from, the war. You have him enlisted in the Iraq War, or you could have him stationed somewhere. His legs get blown off. You could even have him like he's part of like the demolition squad for the U.S. Army, or the Marines, or is it Army? Either one. But the demolition squad, and his legs get blown up while trying to defuse a bomb. I'd be also okay with that if you wanted to go down that route. He'd still be in the military. I mean, if he was a soldier, that's fine too. His legs get blown off, and the military uses him as a guinea pig to basically, for this Venom suit. After giving him prosthetic legs, they make him a soldier again. And, being inspired by Spider-Man, he wants to be this way. And I think with the character of Flash Thompson, you can do a lot with him. I think there's a lot of groundwork for, obviously his troubles with his family, being a former bully, being just kind of antisocial, as well as, just kind of dealing with a lot of his own problems, as well as, not trying to be an alcohol, dealing with alcoholism. I think there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of groundwork you can do with Flash Thompson as Venom. Not to say you can't do anything with Eddie Brock. Again, as much as I'm talking about Flash Thompson Venom, I would be fine if they used Eddie Brock. But the thing is, they haven't introduced Eddie Brock in the Spider-Man films yet, which kind of makes me kind of wonder, are they going to even acknowledge Eddie Brock as Venom in this movie franchise? Because the thing is that you could possibly do Eddie Brock as a in his own solo film, but you kind of lose that aura with him, because his Eddie Brock's connection with Spider-Man, his tale is kind of intertwined with Spider-Man's at the beginning. And you could say, well, you could do all of that with Eddie Brock, but I think you need Spider-Man in that Venom, to introduce Eddie Brock. But however, with Flash Thompson, I think he can hold his own film and still have the mentions of Spider-Man in there, and have the Venom suit from the Ultimate Universe. And you could have mentions of Spider-Man, because even though Flash Thompson is like a friend to Peter Parker, he's not intricately connected with Peter Parker as Eddie Brock was. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you couldn't do an Eddie Brock film. I'm just saying they haven't done anything with Eddie Brock in this universe. They haven't made any mention. They've talked a lot about. They've had a lot of. That's why I'm saying Flash Thompson. And let's face it, he's the Venom out right now, and a lot of people, myself included, are very much like Flash Thompson as Venom. So, yeah, I would not. Again, I would be okay with an Eddie Brock Venom movie, but you need to have that thing he had, that intricacy he had with Venom, Spider-Man, getting tongue-tied here, and then move on to, if you want to go down that route, have Eddie Brock be the first Venom, or, you know, stuff like that. This would be a lot easier if I had someone to do this video with. This will probably be a Milky Juice segment as well. But getting back to what I was talking about with the Sinister Six, that's going to be curious, because you have all these you have pretty much a evil Avengers movie right here. A Sinister Six film is pretty much evil Avengers. That's really how I'm thinking about, is that. But so what are they going to do? Are they going now? The thing is that they've announced the Sinister Six, and they also announced the Sinister Six are going to be in the Spider-Man franchise. But like I said earlier, the dates for the films are going to be... Well, they haven't announced the dates for the films. So is Sinister Six going to be a movie before the Spider-Man movie where they're introduced? Or are they going to be introduced in the one of the Spider-Man sequels and then get their own movie? So we don't know. That's the same thing with the Venom movie. We don't know their exact air dates. All that Sony said is that we're doing Venom and Sinister Six. Yay! I'm doing Kermit the Frog arms, by the way. Yay! I'm having too much fun here. Now, I'm not saying you can't do this. I am in no way... Like I said, you guys know me. I'm a huge fan of supervillains. I love supervillains. It's just going to be... How can you do that? There's so many ways to do that movie. Are they going to have Spider-Man in the Sinister Six film? Are they going after somebody else? Is it going to be like a heist film? Are they going to fight aliens? Who the fuck knows? I'm curious as all hell. Don't get me wrong. I'm really interested to see where you could take this film. Don't get me wrong. It's just a matter of how can you do this. You know? That's all I'm saying, is that how is this going to go? The Venom movie I have a pretty okay idea with, but again, they could easily say, oh, this is where we're going to introduce Eddie Brock, and he's going to be Venom, and we're going to skip over, and we're not going to use Flash Thompson. Okay, which is, again, I'm okay with. But it would be something you'd have to really work at to get my attention with. But anyway, I could go on and on about this this video, so I'm going to leave it off to you guys. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is cool? What do you guys think of a Sinister Six film? What do you think of a Venom movie? And do you think they should go to Eddie Brock, or do you think they should go to... they should just go straight to Flash Thompson and skip over Eddie Brock, and that's where you introduce Carnage, Mayhem, Scream. How am I remembering all these symbiote names? So that's kind of the big question for right now. So because when this got announced, I was excited, and the other there was one part of my brain went yay, the other part of my brain went So the right and left side of my brain are just kind of like having a conversation, or just having it out in my head, and I'm just the poor bastard stuck in the middle of it. Because don't get, again, like I've said throughout this entire video, I'm not bad-mouthing this idea. I think it's a cool idea that that Spider-Man characters are getting their own films. But on the other hand, I'm just like, how are they gonna do this? That's the big, that's the major question that's kind of rattling around in my head right now. And again, it's kind of wondering, because if they do go, now that I think about it, if they do go ahead with Dr. Octopus and Vulture, like we saw in that little trailer with the, their gear, who would you want to play Octavius and the Vulture? Now, I've always had a fan cast as the Vulture. Don't get me wrong, John Malkovich would be cool, like we were supposed to get in Spider-Man 4, but there was always one guy that I thought would be a cool Vulture. I cannot remember his name, but the actor, you guys would probably remember him best as the big game hunter in Jurassic Park: The Lost World. He was hunting the T-Rex. I cannot for the life of me remember that actor's name, but he's been in other stuff like Clash of the Titans, Solomon Kane. He's been in multiple other films. He's also been in a lot of theater stuff, but I cannot remember that actor's name. But I think he'd be great to play he'd be a perfect guy to play the Vulture. Anyway, guys, that's just I don't know who you could get for Dr. Octavius, because a lot of people said Paul Giamatti would have been really cool as Octavius, but he's playing the Rhino, so which is fine. I'm okay with him being the Rhino. But anyway, yeah, guys, I could literally go on and on and on and on about this, because this would just make my head hurt. It's just gonna make my head hurt more, I'm sorry. But anyway, guys, like I said, you guys tell me, what do you guys think of all of this major movie announcement? Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? What Venom do you think they should go with? Who do you think else is going to be on the Sinister Six, and what other characters? And what actors do you want to play other members if we don't get the Vulture and Dr. Octopus, or even the Lizard? Like, what other members of the Sinister Six do you want, and who do you think would be a good actor to play them? Alright guys, that's all I had to say for this video, and I'm out.